podcast. We have our guest Ali Abbas today, as usual, and we're going to discuss about what updates are in the real estate and the mortgage industry since last 1 week.
Been
How
a
are you
busy
doing, Ali?
week. It's been a busy week. I'm doing good. How are you?
Things are amazing. Same here as a spring market, and things are booming. It's just keeping us busy. We are all coming out. So there's a lot of new regulations has been come in the market. So we're gonna discuss about some federal regulations coming in the market for the first-time home buyers and how it will impact our real estate market. So first, I'm gonna talk about that regulation in the mortgage industry, which increases the loan amount by around 7%. So how it works is earlier there was a loan which you can take only for 25 years when you're putting less than 20% down. Now, as a first time home buyer, if you are buying a new construction deal with, you can still take a 30 years of loan. So how do you see this going, Ali? What government is trying to do and how they're trying to help the first time home buyers and how it will impact the prices in the real estate?
I think the longer the better. So more affordable. They can take out the loan. If it's a short amortization, the the, the, the fees are higher, the payments are higher. So yeah, I think it's a good move.
That's good to know. So I'll give you a perspective from the mortgage side. So somebody's taking a 25 years loan, now they can qualify for 30 years loan. Their affordability will go up, their payments will go down. What's impact is going to happen is once affordability goes up, people start putting more money, start bidding more. It will People will go and purchase houses much more expensive, and it will have an increase in the demand on the higher side and push the prices little higher. So government is trying to push the prices on the higher side. It's increasing the demand. So how do you still see that it's helping the buyers, or do you see that it is pushing the demand for the in the market to increase the prices upward? Because in calculation, people can qualify for 7% more for the mortgage.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? You got the prices that was probably going to go up because of this, or the demand. Yeah, so that is if you want to help more buyers enter the market, that's naturally going to affect the demand. There's going to be more demand, which then increases prices potentially as well. Um,
True.
so yeah, you can't avoid that, right? So then the question is, you want more people entering. Um, uh, what effect do you think it will have on the pricing with this change?
The effect will come on the new construction deals, because this only applies to new construction for the first time home buyers, not on the resale market. So it is just helping the builders, helping the buyers with the new construction deals, and it will bump up the prices for the new houses in that way. Because what's the going to happen is, if somebody's qualifying for 500, they might be qualified for 570, 580, and people usually try to max out, and builders might want to take the advantage of this and pricing the houses little higher than the resale market to offload the inventory, and people usually have the preference toward the new homes. So in that way, it's going to benefit the builders in some way, and they might raise the prices to take advantage of this. How do you see that?
They could, yes. It does advantage builders, yes. There's a lot of programs I've noticed that the governments are doing to help builders on the financial side, lending. Yeah, it will definitely help new construction. It'll help more inventory to get sold. Um, will it increase the price? It depends, right? It depends on how much effect this has on the demand and the overall market, right? If the new construction buyers are not that, like, they want it for resale, uh, based on area and location, right? Like if you want a downtown location, it's really hard to get like a nice single family home in a downtown
Right.
location, right? Uh, so for those, they don't want new builds, and they can't really. It's not feasible.
Right.
So depends. I don't know what the effect's going to be on the pricing.
I firmly believe that government is trying to support the builders to have more supply so that builders are more motivated to build more houses, and buyers can work out with them, and it will not help the resale. So somehow they're supporting the supply side from the builders, because if supply is good, they are able to make that work.
Mhm.
So that's a good point we have discussed. So second thing I want to discuss, that it comes as a RSP. Till now, the people can only withdraw up to $35,000 under first time home buyer from the RRSP. Now they can withdraw up to $60,000. So it's a good move that people can withdraw $60,000 from RSP for the down
Is
payment.
this for first time
Not only
buyers?
that, yes,
Perfect.
for the first time home buyers, they can withdraw now $60,000. And not only that, they have to repay it back to the RRSP. Earlier, it was after 1 year. Now, they can repay it back after 3 years. So, what do you see that it will affect the market for the first time home buyers? Because they will be saving, let's say somebody's in a 25% tax bracket and they put $60,000, it will be they'll be saving $15,000 in taxes. So how do you see this regulation coming in and helping the buyers?
Yeah, it definitely would help first-time home buyers because now they can tap into their RSPs and it takes longer to pay. So I think again it will increase more demand. How much will it do? I have no idea. Um, does it help with approval processes? That's kind of your area. Maybe you can like, does this help the purchasing power of first-time buyers in this market?
I think it will definitely impact their affordability, because they can able to gather more down payment from their RRSPs, because a lot of times employers match their RRSPs contribution. They are more motivated to contribute more, and once they contribute, they have much more room to play out and get that money and use that as a down payment, and go for bigger houses. So I feel that's a good move actually by Fed government to help people to make this work. So
Mhm.
that's a really good move. Now I want to come out to renters. Now they are working towards renters, to the people who are paying rent, to use that in term to use those rent paid towards their credit, so that they can boost their credit for the first time home buyers or immigrants. How do you see that? They have both positive and negatives for the tenants, the people who are behind their rents. How it's going to affect them? What do you see?
Yeah, if you're behind your rent, then the landlords were always able to do that. They could always do a report on a bad tenant and ruin their credit, right? So
Yeah.
I guess this is benefiting the tenants, which is good.
Yes.
Um, it's good to help tenants build their credit and get a score from rent because traditionally it didn't even count at all, right? So now it will count, which is good. So if you've made your payments on time and everything's good, then I guess that counts towards your credit score as well, right?
I think it's both sides. It really helps them to build a credit, but people who, sometimes there are some scenarios where they default on the rent and just want to sometimes really create mess for the landlords. They will be messing up their credit now.
Hmm.
Yes, we can definitely report the tenants, but we will have a centralized system now, and the credit will be affected, and people will be much more careful in defaulting on their rents, and want to keep their credit up, because once in Canada your credit is missed, um, you don't able to find the house, or again able to find the rental property. So I think this is a good move on the side of landlords and the tenant can build their credit score, but on the other side you can see is tenants will be more fearful that they have to pay the rent on time, and it will affect their credit if they are not paying on time or defaulting on the rents. And it's an additional mayor, because uh, landlord tenant board right now tribunal, it's really in a mess. We have so much lag.
Yeah.
So it will help them, because if it will start affecting their credit, they don't want to uh, get into the situation where they dispute their rents and stop paying the rents.
Varun, but I think we already have access to that. We as a landlord, you could ruin their credit. You don't need this. So this is going to make it easier, I guess, for landlords to take
Yes,
action. And it also benefits tenants because now their tenant payment history is on their FICO, whatever, their score, Equifax and TransUnion. So the
right,
majority of people make payments. And it'll be treated like a bill. If you miss a bill, it happens. It's not the end of the world. But if it's chronic and consistent, landlords should also know this too. It's good. It'll help. It'll make the system a little bit more efficient. Um,
right.
and it will allow tenants to build up credit and get credit based on their amazing track record of being on time in all the bills. Because right
Amazing,
now it doesn't
amazing.
count, right? So for the
Yeah,
tenant,
it doesn't
you
count.
can't say, "Well, I've been, paying my rent on time for 3 years." They'll say, "So what? It doesn't show up. It doesn't modify their credit score to a higher amount." But now I think it
Right.
will. Is that what this is?
Yes, it is. It's really helpful because let's say somebody is paying rent on time for last 3 years and he's changing the house, he's getting the house on rent somewhere else, and it really will help for the tenants to see or the landlords to see that this person has been paying the rent on time for last 3 years and this is a good client and definitely it will pay the rent on time. So it will definitely help the tenants on that side.
Perfect.
So I think that is a good move coming from there. And another thing which I last want to discuss is about the taxes. Yesterday only we come to know
Yeah.
that federal government has increased the taxes
Yeah.
for the capital gains from 50% to
66.
66.6%. Two-thirds. It's
66.6?
six. Yes, it's two-thirds. Yes.
No, point 0.6 as well?
Yes, it's two-thirds. It is from 50%
Wow.
to two-thirds. So they have increased the taxes on capital gain, which is not the best move. It will impact a lot of investors. How do you see that it will impact the housing prices, the inventory in the market?
I don't know. So is this capital gains on all, including business sales, asset sales, or just real estate appreciation?
To add on here, so basically any capital gain which is above
$600
$250,000 on individual, it applies. Let's say you bought a property for $150,000 maybe 10 years ago and you're selling it for $500,000, the capital gain of 350, now you have to pay 66.6% instead of 50%.
Yeah, I don't know how this can
And
get approved. Like, this is a big amount. We've already paid big amount. Why would
this
they
is
increase it?
crazy. It's really big amount. And this is one. And for corporations and trust, it's flat. They have no limit. For corporation and trust, for companies, there's no limit. So they have to pay flat. So that's crazy, and that's a lot of money on taxes because they have so much debt and they want to tax the people on the hard-earned money and the capital gains to fill that extra spending, government spendings.
What is there to say? What's your take on this? So what do you think? How is this going to affect?
I feel that it will be impacting a lot of investors who are investing in real estate because in Canada, I was looking at the statistics today morning, uh, and it was 11% of Canadians owns minimum two houses in Canada. So huge amount of taxes will be levied on the huge masses of people. So it's not small amount, and people rely on real estate here, and most of the investments have the capital gain, and it will really affect them, which is not the best thing. And it is actually asking the people not to invest much and focus more people on the spending, which is not right. So you are taxing people on their savings a lot, which is I don't feel it's been right. And I feel that it will bring a lot more inventory into the market before June, because this rule is coming into effect in June, not right now. So people who has a lot of capital gains who want to offload, they will offload before June. So that will bring little bit pressure on the real estate market. What do you see coming?
Yeah, so that's an extra what, 16%?
Yeah, it's extra 16 and a half approximately. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. So what is the reason for that? Well, the government borrowed so much money. What are they going to do? They borrowed more money during the COVID lockdowns than the history of all debts combined, something around that range. So
Right.
what are you expecting? They're going to try to, you know, and they're trying to like they're everything they're doing is like it can go both ways, right? Like the amortization period, longer amortization can go both ways. It can increase demand, drive up pricing, and then make less demand because then the people that you want to increase it for can't get in because
Right.
you went over their limits. So the same with the RSP limit. And having more efficient document review does help with demand because now a person who has no credit that comes in is living at a home paying their rent. Now they're actually building credit so much faster, so you can get a payment history on them. So that could help more people coming into the market as well. But then everything is then offset by the capital gains tax that was just increased. So it's like, what are we doing? We're going backwards.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Bad leadership. This shouldn't have happened, especially not this amount. Like, okay, 55. Okay, 57.3. You try to hedge it on something. Here, it's just like they just pulled a random number. They're like two-thirds. That's it.
Right. Right. It's, I think this is not the best thing. It's just discouraging investors to invest, and they will have a some critics on this, but they have so much debt, they have so much spending without consideration, and somehow they have to fill that in, and they're filling this with the taxpayers money. Somehow they cannot increase income taxes, they are just going forward for the people who have capital gains. So I think that's bad, not the best news, but the bad news for the investors, for the people who are already owning the first home and they want to buy a rental property. So I feel that's discouraging in the long term.
I agree with you 100%. Like I don't even know how this thing got approved. Like, isn't there debates? Don't they have some sort of system to be more reasonable with these things or no? It's arbitrary?
It's been crazy. I really don't know how they're managing the financials, but I feel that corporations who have lot of properties, corporations specifically, or the people who have multiple properties and thinking of selling it in the near future, they're gonna act immediately to save on the taxes before June, and it
Yeah.
will bring much more inventory into the market.
Yeah, you'd save a good 15%. So if your capital gain is like
Yeah.
$1 million, that's 150 grand for no reason.
Right.
Like
Yes.
absolutely no reason. Like that doesn't
True.
even make sense. So, but I get, you know, they need to repay and balance the budget, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
No, I think it's been amazing. We have discussed four regulations. It's been which government is trying to help people, but I don't know if it's really helping them in some way. But let's see in the future how it will impact the Canadians in the real estate market, and how it will impact them, the affordability of the mortgage. I'm so happy that we connected again this week to update people on the market. So thank you so much, Ali, for joining today. Stay tuned for the next podcast in the following week. Thank you.